Hopefully this is up and running and recording. What I'm going to show you guys how to do today is, let's say you have websites at wherever, blah, blah, blah. What I typically do is when I am doing a proto site on a development staging server, I will typically use a subdomain. So if I'm doing this one for real self, let's go to the actual live one. Just so everybody knows, it's a blog for what? Plastic surgery is a good way to say it, yes. I don't think there are any images that shouldn't be whatever, but you never know. So this is, oh my God, figure. Okay. Oh my God.
It's a nice silhouette.
Yeah. So anyway, this at trends.realself is then the final website that was designed by a former student that now works for this company that hired me to do the WordPress development. So I got to sit in my sandbox and code this thing out, much like you developers in this class are taking the designs that your designers have designed and gotten approved and building that thing out. And so you can see here it is with good old lorem ipsum text in it. You go to a posting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let me actually log into this one to see if oops. It's not live at the root of the domain, WP dash. And notice it is in a WordPress folder as well. Plugins. Oh, I must have deleted it off here. But when I did move it, I moved it with, so we can basically close these two. I moved it with a plugin called WP Migrate DB. So how does this go in theory? All right, so this one drawing that I had up on the screen a little while ago. This is the one where, again, if I am using my laptop, or in this case, I am using this tool machine, right? What I need to do first and foremost is, if this is the proto site, right, or the development staging server, etc., and I want to eventually have this over here, okay? You may be tempted to one-click install over here with WP Box and database. Do not. Okay? Do not, do not, do not. Because I'm sure you could get around it, but have you guys noticed that every time you do a WordPress install, it appends the tables, right? With like WP, let's see what we're talking about. Oh, in this case, it's just prefixing them with WP, right? Probably because this was a manual download, not a one-click install. But if you've ever done a one-click install in WordPress, what it will do is it is likely then to prepend the tables with a generated kind of password type thing, right? So if you are then doing a one-click install over here on your proto sites, that's great, right? It installs here and it installs your database for you, and you get up and running and everything is going well, and et cetera, right? But it has done whatever it needs to do to the database tables. That's the one big issue, is if you then do a one-click install over here, it's going to make a database for you with all the tables in it, right? Well, what you really need for this database is this one. And for the viewers at home, apparently can't see what I'm doing, this kind of stuff, right? Because there's no camera on me doing that. So for the viewers at home, this database over here, right, that has the tables prepended, right? If you install one over here and it prepends those database tables, you still, one way, shape, or form, need to export this database and import it over there. So it is pointless to do a one-click install anyway. Does that make sense in theory? Okay. If it doesn't, it's okay, right? So again, what we're doing then is the whole WordPress box, right? We need to get from our server and put to their server. Okay, one way, shape, or form, whether you take this and store it on your hard drive on your laptop, your thing at school here, travel, whatever, doesn't really matter. But what does matter is the whole set of files gets pulled and then placed, okay? Meaning, right now, you can see that what I have going on up here right now is, this is the demo install from my WordPress class in the spring. So this was the demo one that I did the tutorials with. This one is a little less complete because this is the one that we did on the fly in class. So I'm going to be using this one right here. So what I mean is all of the core files and everything need to get pulled and put. Why? How many of you, while you've been doing this quarter, have noticed that WordPress, there was an update during WordPress during the middle of the quarter, right? True, right? But what I'm saying is, if you do a one-click install on their server now, it's going to be, unless you did an update halfway through, those files are going to be newer than the files that you're working with. Same as the database. Has anybody ever experienced when working with WordPress, you update WordPress and it says, we need to update your database, right? So I don't know what magic goes on there. I'm sure it's different for every single one. But one way, shape, or form, you want to make sure, whether it's a 3-year-old version of WordPress or the one from yesterday, doesn't really matter as much as it is the identical one that you are installing to and working with. That's what matters. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you would want to do, and I believe I already did this last week, but from your remote server, you would want to make sure that you're getting the latest version. In other words, there should be a point in time when everybody is frozen, right? And I don't mean frozen or Olaf frozen, okay? What I mean is that, has anybody ever heard the term design freeze with a client? That's a really good thing to use with a client. Sorry, client that wants everything changed last minute. Our design freeze was 2 weeks ago. Blame it on your teacher, right? Or whatever, okay? So at some point in time, when you guys are ready to then put this on their server, there should be a development freeze. Nobody should be working on this, right? And there should be the latest up and running version on your development staging server. Again, if I'm going to quote Thomas, which he loves because his ego is huge, right? Hi, Thomas. He loves it when I say hello to him. Sometimes he does, because he doesn't know shit about WordPress, and so he has to watch my videos to figure this kind of stuff out. That's I don't know if he's told you that. But one of the things that I've gotten from him, or one of the most profound things that I've heard him say about agile development is, the theory behind agile development is there should always be a working piece of software, right? So what that means is, you know, the releases, version 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.23, et cetera, are then release working versions of that piece of software. So think of this in terms of version 1, development frozen, right? Everybody stop working on it, don't touch it, hands off, right? Then let's pull it down from our development staging server and migrate it to the client server. That's version 1. Version 1 is launched and done, right? Then for some of you that maybe, is anybody going to be picking up these for their internship projects at all? Okay, so then you're going to be working on version 1.1, et cetera, or however you want to interpret it in your own head. Doesn't matter to me. But the big thing is that you should have some kind of a development freeze. Okay, so while this is pulling like this now, what I want to do is I need somewhere to, if we go back to.
Sorry, and what exactly did you do there? Like, your...
Here?
Yeah, so your remote server.
Yeah.
You're calling for...
Yes, so this right here is, let's put it this way, because we're going to need to know this as well. This pathway right here, okay? What this pathway is telling me is, this is on the premium DW domain. It is on a subdomain called Web170 under the path of the user Msunkula under the home section or whatever. So that's going to be very important, the user pathway, okay? So this, what this equals in terms of what you guys are doing, this is the development staging server, where it is located. So if I have been, we have been, you and me and Victoria and whoever on a project, we're working on it, and we are every however often you guys are pulling from GitHub to your latest staging server, right? At one point in time, that needs to stop. People need to stop working on it so that we can take that latest snapshot, if that's what you want to call it, it's a good way of calling it, and migrate that snapshot to the live server on the client's domain, okay? So what I am doing right now is, let's pretend that this is then the latest install or the latest set of files, including, I don't know if I'll be able to open it because I'm pulling from the remote server right now. Okay, I am. So demo is my theme then in the WordPress class, okay? So if we have been editing this, and it is the latest and greatest on the clients, or not on the clients, but on your development staging server. So what I want to make sure in this process, there might be a different way of doing it. You might be able to just pull it from GitHub, right? But only your theme is on GitHub right now, okay? So instead of just uploading the theme to your client staging server, you are theoretically installing WordPress on their staging or on their development server manually. So did you guys do a manual install in Raven's class or a one-click install of WordPress? Okay. So basically we're doing a manual install, okay? So a manual install is nothing more than putting the WordPress files on a server. That's all it is, right?
So you're going to need to download
No, right, correct. I am right now, by pulling this, looks like it's done, I am downloading it. I'm downloading the latest install. That's what I mean by if we have this drawing here, right? This box right there is WP Core and everything. Themes, plugins, you name it. Uploads, photos, everything, right? We are then pulling that to our hard drive and manually installing that install to their development server.
So these pull files onto our desktop.
Correct.
Okay.
Or wherever you are managing them. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then we are going to take this database that is on the development staging server, and we are going to export this. See where it says URLs and paths? URLs meaning if it's going to be on a different URL, right? Paths meaning path, right? In other words, this is the URL, but then it's in an Syncula account folder under home on DreamHost. That's how they do it. GoDaddy's, I don't think, does that. Some other ISPs do it differently, but that's what I mean by that pathway, okay? So, we are going to do this exporting using a plugin called WP Migrate DB. Okay, so let's go and install that plugin, or I'm going to go and install that plugin. You all are just going to sit here and watch. So I've gone under my plugins folder. I've gone to add new. I have then searched for WP Migrate DB, and here it is. And I am going to install it. Yes. Okay. And I'm going to activate the plugin. So now WP Migrate DB is here on my WEB210 staging server. Now, what I want to do is I need a place to put it, right? So, let's just put it on another premium DW, right? So what I'm going to do, and this, how many of you use DreamHost and don't know how to make a subdomain? Let me show you. Domains, manage domains. It's going to take me right back to the same screen. See? Add hosting to a domain, subdomain. WEB210 dot premiumdw.com. Sound good? Create a new user, recommended. Actually, I'm going to use that. My database, I want a new user. Blah, 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 fully host this domain. Hopefully none of my passwords show up here, because that would really suck if they did. Anyway, it's going to take a little while to propagate there. Hopefully there was no password that you saw. Now what I need to do is, so what I'm doing basically is I'm setting up a live domain, right? Now I need to set up a database. Okay.
So you recommended it be their domain DreamHost, right? So
Well, if whatever, who's their hosting company?
from Nova or something obscure.
Right. So what you need to do is basically get the FTP keys, right? Because what is yours in a WordPress folder right now? Okay. Because I can also show you guys how to pull from a WordPress folder to the root domain, how to do that as well, right? But basically what you're going to do is you need the FTP keys so that you can place that WordPress folder on their server, okay? You're then also going to need the keys to the database, the username and password to the database. So, right, here's what may trip everybody up, okay? You have to create a database for them, right? So if they're not on DreamHost, creating a database on DreamHost is relatively easy. Typically on whatever ISP, creating a database is relatively easy as well. You may have to get their username and password for their ISP account. In other words, if they're on GoDaddy, you need the username and password to their GoDaddy account. If they're on DreamHost, you need the username and password to that, right? Typically, clients don't have that much of a problem handing that out to, right? They may, right? But that's the only way. Or they can set it up, right? But one way, shape, or form to set up, so you need the FTP keys to put the WordPress box on their domain. You then need as well to set up a database, right? So to set up a database, then if I'm on DreamHost and I say MySQL databases, and I go down, create a new database. So I'm creating a new database, WEB210 premiumdw.com. I am going to be using the hosting for MySQL premiumdw.com. First user, create a new user now. You guys aren't going to hack in, are you? Too short. Too short. No. Let's do uppercase P. Somebody write this down. Let's see. Right. Uppercase P, O, 0, lowercase p, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that, so P, O, P, 1, 2, 3. So instead of 1, 2, 3, WEB210. Ooh, WEB210. Thank you. 210, and the username is WEB210. All right. Oh, I got to type out the new password again. Damn it. P. Add new database now. Error. Bad username. Username only contain letters, digits, and underscores. Okay, so regular WEB210. Yay! Okay. So if I then go to WEB210.premiumdw.com, yeah, it's almost there, right? In other words, I have now set up the domain space, right, to then put. So what I'm going to do then is I am going to go back to Dreamweaver here, and I am going to go to Manage Sites, and I think my password will be bulleted out, won't it? It better be. So I am basically going to duplicate this one. Say Web210. Here's the thing. It's going to pull from the HTML folder on my, so it's going to pull from the same folder. Not advisable for the long run. Okay, so typically if I have, in other words, if you are ever going to then go back onto your development staging server and do some work and then do it on there, like you're using it as your testing staging server, I would not use the same local file set, right? Because you might overwrite something. Okay, so what I typically do is I make a duplicate. I don't think I have room for a duplicate here. Okay, if it is just we're pulling it and then pushing it up to theirs, we don't need a duplicate. We're just pushing it to theirs that one time, and then we'll be working on their server over the years, right? As Bree, you're doing your 100-hour or 100 credits of internship, right? You know what you could do instead of taking Web 170 is you could do internship credits learning WordPress, doing their stuff. I'm kidding. That's probably not a good idea. But here is then the HTML folder, right? Oh, the WordPress folder is what I want to pull from. Good that I caught that, because I don't want to put all of them up there. So if I do this and I say WordPress, select folder, save. Root folder you've chosen, yep, may cause some, yep, I understand, proceed anyway. I'm just putting it up there once, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But again, I wouldn't be doing that continuously, right? That's where I probably should be doing it through GitHub. Thomas, thanks. Well, because he makes fun of me for that. Fuck that guy. I still love him. It's Thomas. You gotta, but you know, he's a sarcastic bastard. You gotta let him know he's a sarcastic bastard. Huh? I know, but you know, so what? I'm kidding. He's awesome. I am just, so what I did was I made a duplicate of my web170.premiumdw.com in my Dreamweaver managing sites site manager. And it is just basically synchronizing the thing, like it's reading all the files right now. And then what I have to do is, so I have a downtime so I can, you know, talk smack about Thomas, right? Nobody thinks it's funny. I think it's incredibly funny. Thomas, they're on your side, buddy. I don't know what you've done. But, so here now I have web210 premiumdw.com, right? And it's going to be pulling from the WordPress folder. On the server, then I need to change this to web210. Right. And then I probably want to, I haven't created a WordPress folder, but if I just put that, ooh, yeah, hold on. save, because I'm just going to be putting the WordPress folder. Let's go back here and instead, let's do that. Save, yes. Okay, let's do that again. Sorry, Nicole. Yes. I don't, so if you still have the 2011, 2012, 2014, 2015 themes in your theme folder, I'm laughing at you. You should have deleted those a long time. Doesn't really matter. It's just extra space on their server. Doesn't really matter. But what will happen is WordPress will continuously ask you if you want to update those themes. And then you continuously update themes that you're not using. And that's where the comedy is. Nobody thinks I'm funny today except you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Done. Okay, so if I go to local view now, okay, I want to then just put that WordPress folder that I've been using up to WEB210 premiumdw.com, because where I am in this process now is I have now pulled it and I have made a new domain, which I am putting the WordPress folder to. I have made a new database, okay? Now what I need to do is export this database, sanitize the URLs and paths, and import there, okay? So, going back to Dreamweaver.
So you have to do this with Dreamweaver, or
You can do it through FileZilla, but God help you if you do it through FileZilla, right? I may not talk to you if you use FileZilla, because it's FileZilla. You can do it through whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Right? FileZilla is fine. I'm just ripping on FileZilla for no good reason. Huh? Dreamweaver. People rip on me for using Dreamweaver. I'm uploading everything right now. What's happening right now?
No. You need to add this.
So what I'm doing right now is I am uploading the WordPress, the whole WordPress install, which in that WordPress install, I can't show it to you right now because, well, let's see if I can open the folder, if it'll let me open it. Yeah. So in here, I am uploading. See, look at that, Nicole. Look at that. See? See? Right? So all those images that are in my images folder, right? As well as uploads, any that I've uploaded through the WordPress admin. Are being, so everything is being duplicated directly to the new, right? So, it's still interacting. So you can see where it's getting to the stuff. So what I need to do then is, oops. Let me just grab that thing. There we go. I need to, and again, this is where your hosting server may have a different path. Okay. So I want to make sure that you know that URLs and paths are different. You don't have to rewind. URLs and paths are different, okay? So here's what I mean. This is the path on your server, right? Some of you may have a public HTML folder, right? Does that make sense? That's what we mean by path. The URL then is this. Okay, so I'm going to now here, I want to go to migrate DB off of web170 premiumdw.com, and it is already going to show me what the old URL is, what the old path is, or the staging server URL and path, okay? Okay, so whatever they are for you is whatever they are for you, okay? I'm now going to save migration profile. And it's exporting, please wait. Yes. Okay, so now I'm migrating it to my hard drive. Okay, so what's happening then, or what should be happening, is it done yet? So what I need to do then is where is it? Where is it? Refresh. Is there a process? Didn't I already do it? It was already taken our system. Try, well, he already did it. Back to MySQL databases. Oh, because it was trying to do the form submission again. That's what it was. I just put it on that host name, didn't I? Let's see. Database. Database name. I'm just trying not to log into something on. Let's do it again. Let's try. Let's see that one. MySQL. Yeah, okay. So I did it. I'm going to have to change the, yeah. I see what I did. Modify database name. Let's do this, MySQL databases. Database name, WEB210 2. Create a new host name. That's what I needed to do. User, new username, 10. Losing everybody. Everybody's tuning out on me. No. Great. So, because what I want to do is I want to go to MySQL web210.premiumdw.com, not premiumdw.com, because then I'd have to log into premiumdw.com. I don't want you guys seeing that password. Does that make sense? Sorry about that. So I'm going to go here. Huh? Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I know.
So it might take a minute to propagate. Well, for the time being, let's go back to here and see if it's all up and ready. There it is in the WordPress folder. Because what I need to do is I need to configure the database to pull from the new database, right? So why don't I do that now while I'm waiting for the other database to propagate? Open up the config file. Right now, you see it's got the old database name. Web210 to premiumdw.com has been created. That is my database name, right? Username, 10, password, now, here's the thing with DreamHost. You don't use localhost here. Well, eventually, this is going to be able for me to use that. MySQL Web210 Premium DW. Save. So if I then go to web210 premiumdw.com/WordPress, I should get a can't connect to database. Or install. Don't want to do that. I want this to be live now. What? Maybe. Hey, there we go. So, username, web210, password, key, O0P, web210, log in. Oh, look at that. Huh? Web210.2, Premium DW. No tables found. Oh, that's the wrong place. Import. SQL. Choose file. That's migrate. That's the one. Go. Import is successfully finished. So here, then, it shouldn't ask me to install. It should just show me my website. Did you guys miss that step because you weren't paying attention?
No. So, and all your boards that you want
Right.
will be over here.
So everything I've done, it's all there. Right. The one thing that we'll have to do, though, is if things have broken, you might have to change your permalinks. But notice it has gotten my front page exactly the way it is. It's supposed to. Your navigation, your front page may or may not have broken. Hopefully it didn't. Right? But yeah, this is now, so what you would experience, let's say it like this, right? If I went to my about, right? And now I said, open link or view, open image in new tab. If I had not done all the sanitizing of all the URLs, this would be pulling that image from the wrong URL. That old URL would still be in the pathway, in the URL sanitizer. Right. That's what is right. So it may look correct, but all your images may be pulling from your staging server. Right. Okay. So you see the URL sanitization, right? The user pathway on their domain sanitization. Okay. So it replaces all that. The way I used to do it was I used to export things as an XML file and find and replace in that XML file and upload, and things worked, but once things got more complicated, things stopped working, right? But this is the new way that I do it. Exactly what I did there. I've been meaning to make this video for a long time. This is a good excuse to make this video here. So now what we want to do is, do you all want me to show you how to then make it so if I am here, that it is pulling from my WordPress folder without it saying WordPress in them, okay? Because here's the thing, right now, if you do this, you have put your WordPress install in a WordPress folder on their server space. Right now, it should be turned off from being indexed by Google, right? So it's live-ish. This is where one of you said, well, what's the handoff packet, right? And this is the new handoff. There it is. It's on your server. Now they can edit content to their heart's content, but it's not at the live of their domain. For them to make it live, this is what they need to do. Everybody should Google this. WordPress or WP own directory. Giving WordPress its own directory. Okay? Here is the index file. Here is going to be the new index file. Here's what I mean. Here is this index file in the WordPress folder. You do not want to move it. You want to make a copy of it. But if we look at this, loads the WordPress environment and template. So it goes and looks for that, okay? Because that index file is currently within the WordPress folder. Here's what we want to do. Copy. I also want to delete this stuff that is on the root of whatever. Paste. So now, oops. Paste. So now there's an index file at the root. It's a copy of the other one. We're going to close these two files. We don't need them any longer. I'm going to open that, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to save. I am then going to go back here. My install here. Log into this install. And I'm going to go to settings. There are two of them. WordPress address, site URL. WordPress address, WordPress folder. Site address, not WordPress folder. Now, the only downfall of this is I've noticed a bug this time around where the WP admin bar is not showing up, and I don't know why. It's kind of irritating me. So not WP daemon. Admin. Whatever. But if you go back to the WordPress folder like this, because what it's supposed to do is, and maybe that's, hold on, let's see. If I go to dashboard, maybe, let's just do a test. WordPress, oh, look at that. Site address URL. That should be, I think, I'd have to look again, but save changes. right? Visit site. Ah, sorry. I went to my link on my up here. I should change. In other words, I'll show you what just happened. I went back to my WEB210 because in my index file here, no, header file, I just have the long pathway there. Web210 Premium WordPress About. WP-admin, and I should just, because I'm already logged in. Let's just do a test on the fly, because I told you we were going to fly by the seat of our pants, right? So far, so good. Let's put WordPress back in here. See if that's the deal. Why the admin bar is not showing up. Oh, that's not it. I don't know what's going on. But as far as I know, WordPress address. Oh, let's do this. Let's try it with both of them gone. You know how you forget what's what until you just test them over again? I told you I didn't have any notes, right? Isn't this fun, Vicky? Yeah, that's not it. Because then the style sheet was broken. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The admin bar, the edit bar isn't showing up for some stupid reason. I noticed that the other day. And now it's probably totally broken. Permalinks. Login redirect. 404 error. Oh. That's why. I have to log in again. Excuse me. I don't know what's happening. But I'm not freaking out. You guys would be. I'm just playing around now.
Would you suggest, Mike, that we try to do this in the next couple of days, and then we can still update things on the server, you know, on their server?
Sure. Why not?
But just make sure it's not wait till the last minute to do that.
What's going on? Well, you saw it. It was working, and then I started screwing around with stuff. So don't screw around with stuff. Yeah, let them break it. You don't break it. Because now I'm totally... I have no idea what's going on. You know what I could do? I could do this. I could delete everything and just re-import the database again, but screw it. You guys saw it, right?